Hello everybody and what is up? It is Striker here and welcome to MultiVersus. I am going to be giving you guys a guide on Buds, who I feel like is kind of a heavily slept on character. Because I remember during the closed alpha, I was seeing so many people say Buds has pretty good keep away and he's fairly gimmicky from afar. But whenever it comes to like being up close, he's fairly weak. And I'm going to go ahead and prove to you guys why that is just not the case. It is completely inaccurate. I will say his weaknesses are notable at close range, but if he manages to land a hit on you at close range, you're taking 30 to 40% guaranteed. There's just no getting out of it. His main weakness up close is the fact that he kind of has slow startup on a lot of his normals. Like his side neutral has a little bit of slow startup. His forward air, which is a good starter from like an aerial, it kind of has a little bit of slow startup. And by the way, that was all guaranteed. Like if you've never seen a Buds do that before, which you might have, but that's all guaranteed. You cannot get out of what I just did. So, you know, that's just a little taste of some of the things you're gonna see. But yeah, slow startup on a few of his normals, and of course he also has a long recovery on some of his normals. Like as you can see, trying to dodge out of this, can't really dodge out of it until it's finished. So he does have some longer recovery animations, especially on neutral air, but you can actually like dodge out of neutral air, so it's not as bad. But he's fairly punishable on whiff, so something to keep in mind. You don't want to be whiffing with this character up close. And this range right here where I'm standing at is also kind of like a dead zone for Buds. There are several characters in the game that can just completely outclass him at this range. You do kind of have forward air to kind of force your way in, but you kind of need to drift inward a little bit. But, like, and then of course you also have, like, neutral smash, right? But this is a little bit of a slower option, so obviously you'll be able to get outbeat, especially against characters like Finn. Finn has, like, a really deceptively long range. So, I would say those are his main weaknesses. Slow startup on normals and kind of like this little dead zone right here where, there's not really much you can do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Sorry about that. It took a little bit longer than I had thought, but I want to make this guide as detailed as possible. So we'll go ahead and talk about his unique abilities. We have this passive right here where you hold crouch and you're able to pull out items from this box, and they vary. You can get a sandwich, you can get dynamite, you can get a me seats box. I don't know what the percentage chance of getting each of these items is, and I'm not even sure if it works that way. It might just be like a random chance for everything, and they're all the same, but, aside from that, well, I guess I should also go ahead and say, this isn't something you're really going to be doing in singles a lot. Like, if you're doing 1v1s, the only time I can realistically see you doing this is if you're either playing on a stage that's fairly big, and you have a lot of distance, or if you just KO the opponent. However, this move can be really good for doubles, and I'm just not even going to question the fact that I'm eating a carrot through a box. But that's his first unique ability. His second unique ability is his rabbit hole. Now, you go into the hole, and then you come out the other side over time. And once you come out, you emerge with a hitbox, and you're able to damage people once you come out. Now, you can also use this, you can also come out of the hole early, but there will not be a hitbox, as you can see. So as you can imagine, this is a fairly good mobility tool for Buds. It allows him to get in and out of sticky situations, especially in juggles, right? Like, let's say I'm up here, right? Well, I kind of messed up a little bit. Let me try that again. Like, as you can see, if I'm all the way up there, I can kind of, like, weave in and out of danger a little bit. So, there's that. However, this does kind of have a little bit of a slow startup, and it's very reactable because, as you can see, Buds kind of does, like, a little diving animation before he actually plummets. So, you will be able to get punished out of this. And there's a much better option that I would recommend doing if you're getting juggled instead. So, we'll get to that though. But just know that this is your team move, so your teammates can use this too. And there's a perk that you can use to also make it to where when you emerge from this hole, right, you can crouch on top of it and go in and out through it like this. And there's a perk that you can have where if you do this, you actually emerge with a hitbox. So, you know, people gotta be mindful of where they're standing. So, pretty cool stuff. Let's see, what else do we got? We have his up special and his side special in the air. This little rocket right here is one of his main projectiles, and it does a massive amount of damage. The up special is actually good in combos, unironically. As you can see, that's guaranteed pretty much. I'm gonna see if I can do a better combo for you. Look at that, 41%, almost guaranteed. They can actually jump away from the rocket in that scenario, but you know, just to kind of give you an idea of like the juggles and stuff you can do with bugs. That rocket is actually really strong. It does, as you saw, that's not the move I meant to do. As you can see, 10 damage. Oops. 9 damage. So the side special version seems to do more damage, but the up special version seems to be easier at killing. They're both really strong projectiles though, so you definitely want to be careful when contesting those. So, yeah. Now, we also have, once you have this on cooldown, you have this right here, this little helicopter move right here, where Buds kind of twirls his little ears, right? So he has a natural float, so as you can see, you can kind of use this to mix up your recovery a bit if you have your rocket off cooldown. So, you know, just a little option that you have, and it also deals damage, but it's not too much, and it doesn't multi-hit or anything, so you definitely don't want to use this aggressively. You want to use this to mix up your recovery. We have Neutral Special, which Neutral Special is, in my opinion, his best special aside from his burrow, right? So you have this safe right here, and if you've ever seen like Pac-Man from Smash Ultimates or Smash 4, you know, this safe kind of works a little bit similarly. You drop it, you can launch it, and it has some other properties as well, such as the more that an opponent hits it or it gets hit by it, it'll start breaking, and once it breaks open, it'll drop an item. So you can use this in the air as well. If you use it in the air, its properties change. So instead of it coming down from like a drop, like normal, like this right here, you drop it and then it takes a second to come down, this kind of acts like a fireman hydrant in a way. You can drop it right below you just like this. Now, it's not instant, so you definitely need to be careful when doing this, but you can use this to keep yourself safe if you're getting juggled. Let's say, for example, you get launched upwards and you're pretty far away from the opponent. They can't really contest you from that range without you having, you know, the option to do literally anything. So if you want to drop this to cover yourself, you can, but just be mindful that it does have a little bit of startup, so if they're close to you, they will certainly be able to punish you. So just be careful when doing this. You can also use this in unisync with his burrow as well. So as you can see, you can drop it above the hole and it'll come out the other side. This is a nice little gimmicky thing you can do, and of course you can also launch it through the hole, kind of like that, and it'll also come through. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. But, you know, just some nice little gimmicks that you can do. I think that does it for his specials. We have one more. We have this heart right here where it has a little bit of slow startup, but if you hit your opponent with this, it does a measly 1% damage. But as you can see, they stay stunned for a while. So at low percents, you know, you're getting a full combo. Also, I'm so sad that I messed up that little ender there. But, you know, you're getting a full combo basically at low percent. And then at higher percents, of course, sorry. At higher percents, you get a smash attack, and then of course you can taunt on them. You can just do all sorts of Bud Stains, you know? But, you know, very fun stuff. So now let's talk about his normals. His normals, we're going to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. So you just saw it a second ago. If you press down neutral, you have a pie. Now this pie, you can press down neutral again and hold it, and you charge it up and throw it. Or you just throw it instantly and it'll travel a little bit slowly. But this pie will actually slow down your opponent's movements and stuff. So it's very good to use like this right here. and then you can do pretty much whatever else you want to afterwards. So, you know, there's just several things that you can do with this pie. Now, there is one thing you need to keep in mind with this pie. If you have this pie equipped, your down air actually changes. You cannot use your down air in the air anymore. You have to use the pie before you can use your down air again. So, in combos and stuff, you need to keep in mind that you have your pie out or not. So, you know. I think that that's going to make the difference between a great Buds player and a good Buds player is, you know, being able to adapt to whether or not you have the pie out, because your combos are going to change depending on if you do or not. So, that's something that I actually need to do more, is I need to use the pie more, and I need to, you know, change my playstyle depending on whether I have it or not. So, you know, I'm trying to become one of the best Buds players, so there's that. Now, his side neutral, of course, you've seen it several times already. It's this little multi-hitting punch, and it does have an ender as well. This is good for stage control, like if you want to use this ender. Like, as you can see, it doesn't really have a whole lot of knockback. It has just enough to give you a little bit of space, which is basically what this move is mainly used for, is to give you a little bit of space. So, you're not really going to be using it to do, to like, knock people off stage often. You're more so going to be using that to start combos and stuff. So, you know, again, it does have a little bit of slow startup, so you will be beat out by a lot of characters whenever you use this. It's better to use things like down air to start your combos, and then use this to extend combos, kind of like this, right? Just a little example of something that you can do. Then we have up neutral. This is basically his up tilt and his up smash. It's this little kick right here. Boot to the head. Ain't that a kick in the head? You know, very fun move. It can be used to juggle opponents. You know, you knock them up and then you use up air and stuff like that. Imagination, right? You can also use it to KO opponents at higher percents. So, you know, it's very good to use, like, you know, if you're mid-stage or whatever, and you know that this isn't going to kill, then, you know, you do this instead. So, you know. Then I believe we have his neutral smash. So his neutral attack, this right here, basically is smash attack. So his smash attack is pretty strong, and it can actually cross up opponents as well. So, you know, when you cross up an opponent, you have a hitbox behind you, so you're able to go past them and then do it. So even if you go past them, you still have a hitbox and it's still going to hit them. So it's actually fairly similar to how Harley Quinn's smash attack works. So, very good stuff. So, what else do we got? I believe that covers it for all of his neutrals, right? Yeah, that covers it for all of his neutrals. So, I believe that actually covers everything. You know, the rest that I can talk about is pretty much, oh, his aerials. I forgot to cover his aerials. There we go. So we have his forward air right here. This is really good at starting combos, as you can imagine. It can also be charged to be a little bit stronger as well, as you can see. So this is really good to keep opponents off stage, and it's also really good at starting combos at lower percents. But if you're going to do that, you need to drift into your opponent, kind of, because as you can see, they get knocked back. So at low percents, you know, something like that is guaranteed. Then we have down air. His down air is super strong. It can also be used to start combos, and, you know, nice percentage. Basically the same gimmick, right? You know, you would do down air into neutral air. Things like that, right? 40% guaranteed. Down air is also really strong as a spike, and it's also really strong. You can kill at about 120 to 130 on a lot of the cast center stage by just hitting it raw and neutral. So it is fairly strong. Then we have his neutral air. His neutral air actually breaks armor, but as you can see, it's not the best at starting combos. You kind of need to, like, drop with it if you want to start combos on the ground. However, if you have an opponent that's in the air, you can actually use this to, like, extend combos or start combos, like, if you catch them with it, so, you know. And the fact that it breaks armor means that it straight up counters Superman on certain moves, so that's really good. And then we have probably his best aerial, his up air. This is, in my opinion, Bud's best aerial. It's a kill move, it is a juggle tool. What can't this move do? It's super satisfying to hit because of the sound. Like, even still, it's still relatively strong, so, you know. I just love that move. But, yeah, that covers all of his moves. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the bread and butter combos you can do off of, like, certain moves. So, obviously, you know, if you have your pie out, right, you have this right here. Which I believe that you can actually do this right here. It's not guaranteed, but it is a little bit of a mix-up. That's something that you can do when you have the pie out. Another thing that you do when you have the pie out. Things like that right there. Of course, if you hit like a raw down air and neutral, you go into neutral air, you do this right here. You know, there's several things that you can do. Just experiment a lot, you know. Pretty much your main combo is going to be anything into the jab, up tilt, neutral air, up air. Imagination. You can even do things like this. And at higher percents, that will literally kill as well. Like, I'll go ahead and show you real quick. Let me go ahead and build some percentage. Oops. Alright, this should kill. Okay, well, I missed the up air, but that would have killed if I would have hit that up air. Just to give you a little example, right? Like, I mean, you can do pretty much anything that you want to with this opponent, this character, right? Like, you could even do things like this. Like, as you can see, I mean, you saw what I was trying to go for there. I haven't really labbed things like that too much, because it's not super practical. But if you want to practice situations like that, there's so many things that you can do to, you know, convert off of pretty much anything that he has. So, play around with the character a bit. He's super fun. But I think that's going to do it for this guide. I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there. But, yeah, super fun character. Try him out.